Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh to Seri, Razak and my fellow friends. I'm Nazarifa Jiha, and today our group will present on the topic the challenges faced by Dato Najib in promoting national unity amidst cultural diversity. Malaysia is known for its rich multicultural society, made up of Malays, Chinese, Indians, and various indigenous groups. While this diversity is a strength, it also presents real challenges in building unity. Issues like unequal treatment and ethnic tensions continue to affect nation building. In response, Dato Najib introduced the One Malaysia initiative in 2010, which aimed to promote inclusivity, equality, and unity in diversity. But despite its goals, many underlying problems made it difficult to succeed. To understand why, let's first look at the background of Malaysia's unity efforts, national unity. To understand the challenges faced by Dato Najib, we need to look at Malaysia's historical struggle with unity. Since independence in 1957, our leaders have tried to unite a population made up of different races, religions, and cultures. It's not an easy task, especially when each community has its own identity, language, and constraints. One of the major efforts was the New Economic Policy (NEP) in 1971, after the May 13th racial riots. Its goal was to reduce poverty and increase women participation in academy. But according to Means 2009, although it helped many, some argue in deepened racial divides by favoring one group over others. Then came Vision 2020, introduced by Tun Dr. Mahathir, which imagined a Bangsa Malaysia, an unified Malaysian identity. But again, race-based politics and policies made that vision hard to achieve. When Dato Sri Najib became Prime Minister in 2009, he launched One Malaysia. He introduced programs like One Malaysia Clinics, One Malaysia Shops, and the Government Transformation Program to improve public services and fairness for all communities. Unfortunately, racial tensions, policy criticisms, and later the 1MDB scandal hurt public trust and overshadowed the unity message. So, while the One Malaysia idea had good intention, real progress was blocked by long-standing social and political issues. Now, I would like to pass it to my friend Nur Hazira, who will continue with political challenges faced by Dato Najib in promoting national unity.
Hello, my name is Nur Hazira. So for this part, Sharina and I will going to talk about the challenges faced by Dato Najib in some aspect. The first challenge is in political aspect. There are some highlight keys that I want to mention in this political aspect, such as coalition dynamics within Barisan Nasional, the opposition resistance, and UMNO's internal pressures. First, during his tenure as Malaysia's Prime Minister, Dato Seri Najib Tun Razak faced significant challenges in navigating coalition politics in Barisan Nasional. Leading a diverse coalition of UMNO, MCA, and MIC, Dato Seri Najib has struggled to maintain cohesion among ethnically varied parties. UMNO's Malay nationalisms often clash with MCA and NIC's push for Chinese and Indian interests, especially as demographic shifts and rising Malay nationalism, which complicated the matters. Dato Seri Najib's One Malaysia initiative aimed to foster unity, but he faced some pushback from MCA and MIC for sidelining their communities. Additionally, Dato Seri Najib also faced strong opposition from the Alliance Pakatan Rakyat, which comprising PKR, PAP, and PAS at that time. Pakatan Rakyat criticized One Malaysia as superficial. Because of that, Pakatan Rakyat has gained traction among non-Malay voters through effective social media and campaigns that highlighting the issues like governance and corruption at that time. This led to Barisan Nasional's historic loss of the popular vote in 2013. Internally, Dato Seri Najib has struggled with major internal challenges within UMNO, where some of them want to balance the hardline of Malay nationals, some of them who resisted inclusive policies, and some of them against the moderates pushing for modernization. Well, not only that, the 1MDB scandal, rising cost of living, and GST implementation has further undermined his leadership, making it tough to unify Barisan Nasional, counter strong opposition, and to unite ideological divides to shape Malaysia's complex political landscape during his time.
Malaysia, a vibrant tapestry of cultures, but uniting this diversity is no easy task. So, let's dive into the social challenges Dato Seri Najib faced in promoting national unity amidst Malaysia's rich cultural mix. First is ethnic polarization. Ethnic polarization fuels suspicion between Malays, Chinese, and Indians. Historical narrative prioritizing Malays create feelings of unfairness, deepening divides. Strong ethnic identities often overshadow a shared Malaysian identity, making unity tough. The second one is social tension and distrust. Economic inequalities and Malay anxieties stir intolerance and populist narrative. Ethnic rivalries risk spiraling into conflict, while distrust blocks cultural exchange, hindering efforts to bring the communities together. The third one is religious sensitivities. Religious sensitivities X complexity. Islam constitutional status sparks tension, limiting the non-Muslim freedoms. Social media amplifies religious disputes, threatening harmony and making inclusive unity a challenge. The fourth one is vernacular schools and education. Malaysia vernacular schools prioritizing mother tongue education create ethnic silos. They limit cross-cultural interaction among kids, reinforcing stereotypes. Colonial legacies and perceived issues in national schools further entrench these divides.
For the next aspect, I will talk about the economic challenges faced by Dato Seri Najib during his administration. We all know that new economic policy has aimed to reduce poverty and address ethnic inequalities through affirmative action favoring multicultural. It boosted Malay economic participation, but sparked perceptions of racial favoritism and sidelined the non-Malay communities. Under Dato Seri Najib's administration, the focus on Malay economic empowerment within multicultural rights has deepened these tensions, where their critics arguing that it fostered entitlement and sidelined minorities and made it worsened by corruption allegations. In addition, despite economic growth, the gains or profit have not been shared equally within the ethnics. The Malays, particularly in rural areas, face higher poverty and limited access to education and infrastructure compared to urban Chinese and Indian communities. This rural-urban divide fuels inequality and contribute to challenges of national unity. Furthermore, Dato Seri Najib's One Malaysia initiative, including the 2012 Dream Cash Handout program, has provided relief to low-income households and gained rural support. However, the critics call it a short-term fix and arguing that the program failed to address unemployment, skill shortages, and economic diversification because cash transfers lead to the dependency and didn't drive sustainable growth. To summarize, Dato Seri Najib faced the complex task of balancing affirmative action with inclusive policies to reduce ethnic and regional disparities while fostering long-term economic progress.
Malaysia shines as a moderate Muslim nation globally, but ethnic conflicts and scandals like 1MDB dim this image. Let's explore how external pressure and corruption challenge Dato Seri Najib push for national unity. First is global perceptions. Ethnic and religious tension fueled by elite rivalries and the social media misinformation tarnish Malaysia's multicultural reputation. Negative global media portrayals of Islam and instability add pressure, making unity harder to achieve. Second one is local versus global divide. Malaysia's colonial past and ongoing religious dispute clash with its moderate image. Social media amplifies local conflicts, while weak interfaith dialogue undermines Malaysia's global reputation as a tolerant, unified nation. The third one is 1MDB scandal impact. The 1MDB scandal rocked Najib's One Malaysia campaign. Massive corruption allegations eroded public trust, with media exposing governance failures. This scandal overshadowed unity efforts, deepening political and ethnic divides. The fourth one is deepening division. 1MDB fueled public outrage and populist revolts, widening ethnic and political rift. Poor governance and distrust in institutions further fractured society, making Najib's unity vision a tough sell.
Greetings, I am Francisca Mildred. So in this part, I will evaluate the One Malaysia initiative's accomplishments, its shortcomings or limitations, and former Prime Minister Dato Seri Najib Razak leadership style, and propose some potential solutions to address the challenges in promoting national unity. So fundamentally, the One Malaysia initiative was intended to encourage Malaysian people to embrace a shared national identity and include different ethnic religions and cultures. In order to achieve this, the government had implemented several programs and community events. In this context, the One Malaysia initiative did manage to foster some cross-ethnic dialogue and interaction. However, deeper structural inequalities and long-standing grievances were not adequately addressed, which limited this initiative's capacity to foster substantive change. As Dr. Wan Nur Hasnia Wan Hussein argues that the One Malaysia initiative focuses more on slogans and branding which overshadow the true intention of the reformation. This leaves the deep-rooted causes to become unresolved. Moreover, Najib's leadership style has contributed to the ineffectiveness of the One Malaysia concept. In this context, Najib has taken a top-down approach characterized by government-driven programs and policies. This approach lacks the significant grassroots engagement from diverse communities. Due to the absence of authentic grassroots engagement, it has limited the meaningful reforms. As mentioned in Farish 2010, this top-down approach established One Malaysia more as an official campaign rather than an inclusive community-driven movement. It is also pivotal to recognize required steps to conquer these challenges. There are several steps that can be used, such as by restructuring the education system. In this context, the education system can move gradually towards a more unified national school system that promotes shared national values while still preserving the diversity of our nation's culture. Aside from that, we can revisit the nation's affirmative action policies. In this context, we should balance the importance of addressing historical socioeconomic inequalities and using merit-based opportunities. This is to reduce any resentment among different ethnicities. Additionally, it is also important to promote interreligious cooperation between different religious communities in Malaysia, such as Buddhism, Christianity, and Islam. This is important to prevent misunderstanding, build mutual respect, and promote long-term social harmony. For instance, the government may implement a youth exchange program that brings students from different religious schools together. Finally, it is also important for the Malaysian government to be more integrity and accountable in their governance. It is important to highlight this matter, especially after the damage caused by the 1MDB case. In the case of 1MDB, it shows how a corrupted governance may weaken social cohesion and national harmony. Hence, by strengthening the anti-corruption measures and upholding the rule of law, it will be able to ensure integrity in the government. Thank you. In conclusion, the One Malaysia initiative represents an insightful lesson in long-standing obstacles to unite a multi-ethnic and multi-religious population under a shared national identity. Even though this initiative succeeded in making space for cross-ethnic dialogue and encouraged Malaysians to engage with the notion of collective identity, its weaknesses show that deep-rooted inequalities require more than a symbolic message and campaigns to resolve them. Without confronting the fundamental factors that continue to separate communities, any initiatives or efforts attempted will likely fail to achieve lasting results. This is because an effort that aims to strengthen national unity must be grounded in authentic trust and meaningful reformation instead of relying solely on symbolic statements. One of the most important lessons is the urgent need to address the deep-rooted socioeconomic inequalities that continue to influence inter-ethnic relationships and shape how fairness is perceived throughout communities. In this context, when any part of society feels neglected or treated unjustly, it will fuel resentment towards one another, which could weaken any efforts to build a shared national identity. Thus, the education system plays a pivotal role in shaping how our future generations understand diversity and coexistence. In this context, we need a more integrated education system that promotes authentic cross-cultural interaction, which helps them to build trust and connections across communities. Ultimately, the aim should be to find the right balance between preserving Malaysia's rich cultural diversity while also cultivating a sense of national unity that rises beyond ethnic and religious labels. Finally, the lessons drawn from 1MDB make it clear that having good governance and reliable institutions is important to build and maintain unity in Malaysia's diverse society. Corruption and lack of accountability can diminish the public's trust and confidence, which may make it difficult to convince citizens to embrace any shared national agenda. In upcoming years, Malaysia's leaders must commit themselves to being transparent and accountable to unite Malaysians. By doing this, our country can transform our vision into reality for all people, no matter where they come from. That's all from me. Thank you.